Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Macaw Podcast Universe. It's me, Micah Macaw.
Me, Jordan Macaw.
And this is the podcast where we are proving to people that sequels can be better than the originals. That is not always the case, but oftentimes, and actually I think with every series that we have covered, we have not found the first movie to be the best movie in the series.
Yep.
Yep. This one is no exception. This movie is way better than the first movie.
Yeah.
But having said that, we're covering the Maximum Teenage Angst Overdrive miniseries. So for the next 4 weeks, excluding last week, which we hope you already listened to, we're covering the Twilight vampire series. And today we are covering the second movie, which is the Twilight Saga, New Moon. So here we are. It's a new moon, which you get those every month, right?
I don't know. I'm not very good at the moon stuff.
I mean, we might need to take that knowledge because next is eclipse.
Nah.
So shall we just go straight into it?
What are your notes? What else would we go into?
I have notes about it.
Yeah.
So here we go. So this movie is directed by a different director than the first movie, Chris Weitz, Weitz, and he did Operation Finale, The Golden Compass, About a Boy, and he was an uncredited director on American Pie. Produced by Wyke Godfrey, who we talked about last week, Karen Roosevelt, who produced Wonder Park, which was this strange movie that had like monkeys in it and like a fairy tale carousel that I think came out last year, animated.
I've never heard of that.
It
before.
flew way under the radar. She did Max 2, White House Hero. Remember the movie
Max
about the
2?
dog? Remember the dog movie?
What kind of dog is this one?
It's like a German Shepherd.
No.
Yeah, she directed, or she produced that. And the first one. She did Road Chip, the Squeakquel.
Okay. Is that the Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Yeah. And she also did Yogi Bear 3D. So along with that, we have screenplay again by Melissa Rosenberg, who I believe has done all of them, so we'll mention her every week. And then we have music by the one and only Alexandre Desplat. Still am uncomfortable pronouncing his name, but he's the best man in the business. He rules. Earlier this year, somehow the score for a different movie beat Little Women, the best score that we've had ever since Interstellar. My second favorite score of the year and my favorite album of 2019, the Little Women score. So then we have cinematography by Javier Aquirasarobi, who did the new Dora movie that came out last year.
Okay.
Thor Ragnarok. So we've mentioned him before. The new Poltergeist movie, Blue Jasmine, The Road. And The Road was the same year as New Moon. Jordan. The Road was the same year as New Moon, and he did the cinematography for both, which is interesting. Production, Temple Hill Entertainment, Imprint Entertainment, and Sunswept Entertainment. And Sunswept did the rest of the Twilight movies and the movie that will never be released, Fox's The New Mutants. Which, folks, I don't know if you're aware of this. So, little side tangent. There's this movie, and it's like the final Fox like release of a Marvel movie. And it was supposed to come out in 2019, I believe, in like February of 2019. They changed the release date to the end of that year.
Yeah.
It's called New Mutants. It's about like a horror house of mutants.
X-Men stuff.
X-Men, yeah. And then by the time we got to the summer, they changed the release date to early last year. And then when we got to that, they changed it again to this year. It would have come out in like February, and then with the coronavirus, they
I don't
postponed
think it was
it
supposed to
indefinitely.
come out in February.
Or it was supposed to come out in March or something.
Yeah.
It was almost out.
Yeah.
It was almost out. But at this point, it's like, just dump it on Disney Plus or Hulu. Like, the movie, no one's excited about it. Just dump it. And it's been pushed back for like 2 years. Just put it on Hulu. Don't do it in theaters. It's going to be a disaster. And the last X-Men movie that is like the main X-Men stuff didn't even do that well.
No.
So people know that the Fox studio is not a part of Marvel, and that Marvel Disney bought Fox, and they know they're relaunching it, so people aren't really interested in it anymore. So just cut your ties. The only one that has a shot of making it through all this is Deadpool, in my opinion, even though I don't think that one creatively has a good shot at this point.
Yeah.
But that one has a shot at maybe making the crossover. But I also feel like Kevin Feige is just going to be like, I'm just going to sideline Deadpool. Like,
I could see that.
I don't feel like he's concerned about that.
Yeah.
Which is the right move to make.
Yeah.
Because the first movie makes all the statements that need to be made, and there's no need for that sequel. It's distributed by Summit. Comes out November 20th, 2009. And this movie ups the budget by $13 million, and
Well,
it
it's
is
still
now,
pretty small.
$50 million budget.
Yeah, for a franchise.
Yeah, but again, we don't have a lot of big actors. So
True.
And the big ones,
that it's clear that they put a lot of money into special effects.
yeah, and we'll talk about the special effects. So the movie makes $296,623,634 domestically. Worldwide, the movie makes $709,827,462. And then, here we go. Now we're under the production notes. You tracking with me still? Okay. One day after Twilight was released, Summit announces the sequel. And Roseburg handed in a draft for New Moon the opening weekend of Twilight. So she was gearing up and ready to write this screenplay. Taylor Lautner? So there was concern about casting him in the next movie.
Yeah.
Because according to the books, he becomes like this pretty rough and tumble and like, not rough and tumble, but like
big guy.
Physically like attractive, like strong muscle guy. And so he gained 30 pounds for the role because he didn't want to lose it. So he did that. It shows maybe a little too much. And
they are catering to a certain audience, though. So.
They are. The movie's filmed on film, surprisingly enough. Mm-hmm. And then the director wanted to show the stability of the relationship between Edward and Bella, as opposed to the craziness of Jacob and Bella. And so a lot of the Edward stuff is filmed on a dolly, and a lot of the stuff with Jacob is filmed with a Steadicam.
Dang, that's cool.
That's a pretty cool touch.
Yeah.
And
I like stuff like that.
I love that kind of stuff. That's the best. It's shot in Vancouver instead of Portland. So because of that, they had to redo a lot of the sets. So I bet a lot of the budget just went to that. They're like redoing and remaking sets, and then that stuff outside of the school. Because I remember you said like, "Oh, that looks weird. That looks like a reshoot." At the beginning,
when Jacob shows up at the parking lot,
it's because it's green screen. It's all green screen stuff because they don't have that location anymore. Yeah. And then the VFX team studied real wolves to get all that stuff, and it
shows.
Yeah. And speaking of VFX, the wolves look pretty darn good.
Surprisingly, have aged well.
Yeah. I mean, I think CG will always look dated by a couple of years after it comes out. But
you would expect this because the last movie with Edward jumping and running, like, it looked so terrible. Like, even for that time, it looked terrible.
Yeah.
And then to see this 10 years later, right?
What? No, this was a year later after.
No, but I'm talking about, when did that movie come out?
Yes, 10 years later, yeah.
It still looks pretty good. And I think that they got the expression well on the wolves.
Yeah, I think
to show that they're people.
Yeah, they did a good job of that, because that can easily get into what's that called, that weird territory of CGI when things look off.
Well, like the uncanny valley.
Yes, yeah, it can get into that territory, but it didn't. They looked pretty good, and you still understood like what the werewolves were trying to.
And I'd
do.
say even when action scenes were going on, I knew it was happening. There weren't like a ton of cuts.
I mean, it's still, as with most PG-13 movies, like the action usually just kind of is a baseline suck.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not
this
like
one wasn't like
cutting
a
back
lot
and
worse.
forth and all you're seeing is fur. It's like I could see and understand what was going on in the scene.
Yeah.
Which even for that, I wouldn't even expect that for this movie.
No.
So it's cool.
So 10 out of 10, a perfect movie.
Okay, so are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, so Taylor Lautner is Shark Boy, people. Lava Girl and Shark Boy, ring any bells? I feel like that might be the Spy Kids people who did that movie.
It is. That's the same. That's Dimensions Studio.
What is it called?
Dimensions.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's also in. Okay, wait. Let's do this. Oh, he's got a lot of credits. A lot of TV shows at the beginning of his career. Shocking. I know. He's as old as my sister, which is 27. That is.
He's a young buck.
Yeah. It just means he was a teenager when they made these movies. Okay, sorry. I got to scroll through all of the he was on David Letterman.
Yeah.
Types of things.
The little guest appearances and whatnot.
But yeah, I'm gonna scroll a lot. I'm assuming since he was a Shark Boy and Lava Girl, I'm wondering. Oh, he's on Danny Phantom.
Oh
wow.
yeah, you had a crush on Danny Phantom,
was
right?
about to say yes, that because he was. Oh, he's in the Bernie Mac show for 2 episodes. He's in Scooby Doo for 2 episodes. But yeah, so I'm assuming because of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, he was in some Nickelodeon stuff.
Yeah.
He's also in Cheaper by the Dozen 2. I don't remember that.
I didn't know they made a sequel.
Oh, that's right. He's in Valentine's Day. He's like the Taylor Swift love interest.
Yes. I did not see that, but yes.
Oh, of course I saw that. He's in Abduction.
So, okay,
Grown
Abduction.
Ups 2.
Abduction talk real quick.
Is that a series with tracers? Because the covers look the same.
I don't think so. It's just like a one-off. I remember that being the moment where it was like, okay, Twilight. What year was Abduction? Did you see it?
No, 2011.
Okay. 2011. So it was like Twilight was wrapping up, or it was
Got a
about to
25
end.
Metascore.
And I remember the kind of the buzz around that movie, and the idea was like, okay, this is his like shot at breaking out.
Oh.
And the movie did really bad, and no one sees Taylor in anything else anymore.
I know.
And that
Alfred
was kind of
Molina's
the
in
shot.
that movie.
Oh, wow.
What a get. Yeah, so this is the cover of Abduction.
Okay.
And then this is the cover of Tracers.
And what's Tracers?
I don't know, but very similar.
It
covers.
is similar. It's also just kind of like that, a lot of covers
wait,
look like
okay,
that.
this is the Tracers premise.
Okay.
Wanted by the Chinese mafia, a New York City bike messenger escapes into the world of parkour after meeting a beautiful stranger. It has a better score than Abduction, so
Well, I
bet
mean,
the stunts were cool.
yeah, if they highlight the stunts, sometimes that speaks better than the plot,
Yeah.
But he was in Ridiculous 6. I don't know if you had
I'm
gotten
not
there
there yet, Pooper.
Okay, I didn't know if you were still on
And then
Taylor.
Ridiculous 6. Jeez. I'm done.
Is that the only person you're doing today?
I mean, who else is there?
Dakota Fanning and the one guy in the Or.
Oh, yeah.
Or not the Or. What the
Michael
Volturi.
Sheen.
Michael Sheen.
He's the head of the Volturi. Don't step on any of my movies I'm about to talk about.
Okay, you keep going. Is he related to the Sheens?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, so Michael Sheen is in so much stuff. He's a wonderful actor. Everyone's going to hate me for saying it, but he is in a lot of British stuff. But them's the facts, people. But he's also in that show Good Omens, which I believe is a Neil Gaiman series. Created by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Pretty cool. It looks good. If anyone watches it, tell me if it's good or not, because I'm on the fence about it.
I think
but you have
one
David
of your
Tennant.
cousins said it was really good, and you were like, cool, I've been waiting for someone to tell
Francis
me if it's good or
McDormand's
not.
in it. David Tennant's in it.
Just watch it. Why?
John Hamm's in it. No, I'm watching it. Okay, it's got the ham. He's also in Doolittle, but so is the rest of Hollywood.
What's his character name? Please tell me what's his character name.
Dr. Blair Moodfly.
Dr. Blair Moodfly.
It's got the umlaut.
Oh, he's a bad guy in the movie. I remember
the bad
hearing
guy?
about that. Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Okay, I feel like that's kind of his MO. But he's in a certain movie. that I need to find. Okay, but he's in a lot of stuff that I feel like a lot of people haven't seen. But he's in Admission, Doctor Who for an episode, Midnight in Paris, Tron Legacy, like the new one or the remake.
It's Tron Legacy.
Have you seen that
The first
movie?
one's called Tron. So.
Oh, they made another one?
No, the first one is called Tron. That movie's Tron Legacy. It's not a remake. It's a continuation.
Of the old one?
Yeah.
Oh.
The sequel.
Did you see it?
I've seen Legacy. I haven't seen the original movie.
He's,
That movie, the score is Daft Punk. It's a very cool score.
Yeah, I like that movie. I remember liking it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I feel like the actor was in a couple movies within a couple years, and we don't know where he is now. He fell off the face of the planet. There's a movie he's in. Oh, he's also in Alice in Wonderland. He's the White Rabbit.
Okay.
Surprised we didn't touch on him. The Tim Burton one.
Yeah. I don't like to talk about that movie.
He's in Blood Diamond. Okay, he's in a movie. Oh, he's in Underworld. He has vampire experience. I'm just not going to spend too much time on it. I feel like he's in a movie with Forrest Whitaker about Scotland or something.
The Last King of Scotland?
He might be in the movie, but also not sure about that. Okay, so Dakota Fanning. Let's find her.
Ooh, should I do my Dakota Fanning story?
If you want.
Do you not want me to?
I don't really care.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
While you're looking. So just years ago, maybe it doesn't translate.
I don't think it translates.
I won't do
Micah
it.
punked me a long time ago.
Yeah. I punked her and convinced her that Dakota Fanning got hit by a bus. And then she was like, "Are you serious? How did I not hear about this?" And then she looked it up and it wasn't true. And it's been a joke. Every time I see Dakota Fanning, I say, she recovered from her bus accident so well. But maybe that's been pretty poor taste. I don't know. Tell us about Dakota Fanning.
Yeah. So Dakota Fanning is in War of the Worlds. So she has been in a movie with Sir Tom Cruise. Pretty cool, guys. Pretty dang cool.
That'd be our dream.
Yeah.
If anyone knows Tom, we'd love to have him on the podcast.
How come this is her filmography is just like impossible to navigate?
Well, I got a couple on.
Okay, she's in Malcolm in the... Okay, she's in a ton of TV shows. Shocker. I feel like she's a get. From movie one, it's like, oh my gosh, great child actress. Put her in everything. She's in Uptown Girls. Cat in the Hat. That was a big one. She was in Cat in the Hat. She was... And it looks like a Kim Possible movie, which is cool. And Man on Fire, which was a big one.
That was a big one.
That got Denzel. She's also in 9 Lives.
Oh, the Kevin Spacey cat movie.
No.
Oh.
But this has Glenn Close in it.
Oh, okay.
That looks kind of boring.
But I mean, I think her big breakout was War of the Worlds.
I think so too.
And then I think she followed it up with Man on Fire.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. She's also Coraline.
Oh yeah.
She's in the movie Push, and then we get into Twilight.
Wait, Push based on the novel
Push by Sapphire. And then I mean she'll never stop being in things.
Yeah. She was kind of like,
forever.
I feel like though with War of the Worlds and Man on Fire, it was like Dakota Fanning is the next big thing, and I think she's definitely simmered a little bit. And I'm waiting for her to do something else where people are like, let's give her an Oscar now. You know?
I wonder. Okay, here I have an interesting thing that I'm thinking about. First of all, though, she's also in the show The Alienist that looked pretty good. That's on TNT with Danny Bruhl.
Oh yeah, that did look cool.
And then she's in Ocean's 8, also Once Upon a Time.
Yes.
But I'm curious because her sister, Elle Fanning,
is
arguably right now a little bit bigger. Arguably.
I think so. I think she is.
Because of, I think that, I mean, all similar reasons. So I'm curious if there's like some type of like strategy behind that. Mm-hmm. In terms of like, because they're now at the age, because I know Elle Fanning's younger, I don't know how old she is, but they're now at an age where they could play the same age in a movie, which basically makes them competitors. Yeah. So I'm curious if how they strategize going after roles.
Oh, that would be
not to say that they're both
out.
just trying to be in every movie, because they're not.
Yeah.
But It's really interesting to think about that.
Yeah. Well, and something about Dakota, as is with a lot of child actors, I feel like at some point they have to overcome like their cuteness that they had.
Absolutely. And most of them don't make it. That's why the Stranger Things and the It kids, it's so fascinating.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see who can retain.
And especially Asa Butterfield.
Yeah, he's a good example.
Sex Education. I have not seen the show.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about the show, but like seeing a kid now in a show like that, it's like, oh, Asa, what are you doing?
Yeah, because it's hard to overcome that. And I think Dakota, I don't know, maybe I'm just wrong about this. I could totally be wrong, but I've never felt like she's really carried that baggage, even though she was such a cute child actor.
No.
Like when I saw her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I wasn't like, oh, that cute child actor. Like what? And maybe it's because we kind of grew up with her, so it's different.
I think so. I think that's part of it. And I wonder too, also she grew up at the same time as us. Like we didn't technically grow up with social media.
Yeah.
Like social media didn't really become a thing for us until we were like 14.
Yeah.
So before that, it wasn't like she wasn't on our radar all the time because we weren't following her. But now it's like the Stranger Things kids, like Finn Wolfhard. People are like watching his every move now.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it even riskier.
Yeah.
For their careers, even if he continues to be in things and does well monetarily, doesn't mean that people will necessarily like him anymore.
Yeah.
To me, it's always super interesting whenever a child actor is in a role that has to do with sexual content.
Oh yeah,
that's the really.
That's a big test of what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's just unfortunate. It's it's inevitable for people in movies and roles they choose, whether or not they're participating or not, if the movie's super mature or not. But because they come from kids stuff, technically, that's the interesting part about it. But I think of people like
Jacob Tremblay.
Jacob Tremblay, it's going to be super weird, but we just watched The Mountain with Ty Sheridan.
Yeah.
And there's sexual content in it. And I didn't feel, he wasn't ruined for me.
I forgot, actually, I forgot that he was a child actor.
Yeah.
I actually forgot that.
Because he's in Mud.
He's in Mud. That was his breakout.
As well as other things.
I think because with him, since I've been following him and watching his movies as they come out, I'm pretty much like, there he is again. And
totally.
I love Ty Sheridan. So if he's in something, except for the X-Men movies, I'm usually interested in seeing it.
And I would say he's kind of successfully, in a good way, stayed away from mainstream stuff. He's it seems like he actively chooses the a little bit under the radar, but still has a huge following type of thing.
Along with his mainstream, because he has been in the X-Men movies.
Oh, I forget he's in the X-Men movies, but that's the only thing
And Ready Player One.
Okay, but that's it.
Yeah.
But then I think of the kid. Okay, so that kid, Ty Sheridan, and then the Percy Jackson kid, and then the kid who's in Prisoners. The son in Prisoners. Those three, not only do they all look alike, and they don't really look alike, but they kind of do if you follow me.
Yeah. I think especially Percy Jackson and the Prisoners kid, they look a lot. Logan Lerman?
Logan Lerman, yeah.
Is that Prisoners or is that?
No, that's the other kid.
That's Percy Jackson?
Yeah. I don't know the other kid's name.
I'll look him up while you're talking.
I am sure that if we sat down with one of them, he would have stories about showing up for an audition, and almost every audition they have been to, those other two actors are there. I'm sure, because they all fit the type perfectly. And what's interesting about Logan Lerman is he was in the Percy Jackson series, famously terrible series.
Yeah.
Still though, big deal for him. And I think he was in another.
I think wasn't Percy Jackson directed by Chris Columbus, the Harry Potter guy?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry,
but,
we're going on some tangents.
No, anyway, but that kid. So even though that franchise did terrible, he was still in it. It's something. And then I think he was in another. I don't think he was in The Vampire Assistant. I think that was a different actor, but he was in something else kind of like that. So I feel like got the mainstream.
Which one are you talking about now?
The Logan Lerman kid. I feel like he's a little bit more mainstream. He's now in that show with Al Pacino on Amazon too, which is a pretty big.
That looks like
to me
cool
is a big deal for him to be on that show.
If anyone's watched that, let us know if that's good.
Yeah, it
I'd
looks
like to know.
interesting. And then the other kid from Prisoners.
Yeah,
he's in he's 13 Reasons Why kid.
Yeah, and his name is Dylan Minette. Dylan Minette. He's right next to Paul Dano, your favorite actor.
movie is this?
This is Prisoners.
Oh yeah, Paul Dano's in it.
You forget because he's so transformative.
Yeah.
No, I always think Paul Dano. I always think Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh
We have
Jackman,
not
Paul
gone
Dano.
on a Paul Dano rant yet.
No, he hasn't been in a franchise movie, I don't think, like ever.
We'll save it. I could talk forever.
Yes, keep
about
going, though.
Paul Dano.
I'm
okay,
listening.
but that kid, so he's the 13 Reasons Why, but he's also been in some horror movies. Like he's in Let Me In. Prisoners is not horror, but it is horrific. Like he's in like really heavy movies, and now he's in 13 Reasons Why, and so it's like I feel like they have all, because they've got to be like 20 now or something, probably older than that. I think they have all successfully integrated into adult things.
Yeah.
But it's just so fascinating to see what the Stranger Things kids will do. Because I guess none of those three guys have been in something that successful that young.
Yeah.
You know?
The thing about what's interesting about where we're at with like we have so much like media we can consume is I think about the Stranger Things kids and you go, oh man, I hope that they can like make it and like be good actors and stuff. But if like 2 or 3 of them like just suck, if they just wait 5 years and just release a podcast on Stitcher Premium that's like us reflecting on Stranger Things or like do watch-alongs and stuff, they would be fine. There's so many things, like if you have those big things with our consumption of media now, you could like coast off that probably forever.
Oh yeah.
Because they could be like, we're doing a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff.
Who do you think will not make it?
I think what are the kids' names?
So you have, I know Finn Wolfhard. I know Elle, who is Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown. I think she's got it.
Yeah, I think she's got it.
Although she hasn't had a movie that's broken through.
Yeah.
Do you need to take that?
No.
Okay. I think she's got it. I personally think that Finn Wolfhard is not going to make it through.
He is who I'm most interested in. I like the day he gets a haircut.
Yeah.
Is going to make or break his career. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, because he's always even in that new movie, The Turning. Same haircut, same kid. What's going to happen when he cuts his hair? Because at one point, his agent, publicist, parents, whoever, they're going to be like, "It's time to cut the hair.
Yeah,
it's time for the next phase of your career."
I personally think that he is going to have like a Haley Joel Osment type of career. If he continues to act.
If that's true, he's going to end up being pretty cool.
Yeah, and I love him. I'm not dissing on
Haley
Joel
I know
Osment.
what you're talking about when you say
but
him.
But I think like he'll kind of drop off for a while. He'll have once he gets a little older.
He'll be in his band or whatever.
Yeah, and then he's going to like be in some side roles, and maybe those aren't going to do so well either, and then he'll just pop up on like sitcoms. And do like 5-episode runs where you're like, oh yeah, oh this guy can act, he is good. I wish he was in more stuff. And then I keep on getting
fascinating.
I keep on swapping all the kids from It and Stranger Things. But who?
I hope that
Dustin, no way. He's not.
If anything, he'll be typecasted, and I think that I hope for him that he will be able to enjoy it, because I think he will just be typecasted for the rest of his career.
He strikes me as like, okay, in 5 years, he's going to have like a Jack Black style YouTube channel where he's just like reviewing video games.
Yeah. And I think too with like Finn Wolfhard, I think he seems to be aging physically faster than everyone, like going through a growth spurt.
Yeah.
So, but Dustin seems to be the most childlike still. So I don't think we know what he looks like yet. And I know this is all petty, the things we're talking about.
No, this is fun. This will be a fun
something.
time capsule. Like, I'm gonna put this in the description. So if we're ever like, what did we say about them?
Yeah.
And then as far as Will, no.
Oh, Will's just not a good actor. So
no, he's not gonna.
He's not great.
And then what's the other kid's name? I can't remember his name.
The black kid.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. I think he's good.
I think he's good,
I think
too.
He's got a shot. I think, too, he's also... we don't know what he looks like yet. Like, we don't know... Because that's... like I already said, it's petty that to look at it that way. But when you're talking about the world of actors, that matters.
Yeah.
To a large degree.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, when he grows up, how that can affect what roles he chooses. Because I think he has a shot.
Yeah.
I think he's good. Because
It'd be
he's
cool
got
if
some
he did-
emotionally compelling stuff in the show.
It'd be cool if he did like a Robert Pattinson type career where he just started doing indie stuff.
I would love
And
that.
I know that Finn is kind of trying to do that, but he's still sticking in the horror.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that Max sucks, so she shouldn't.
I don't think
have anything else.
I don't think she's gonna make it through.
She's just not a very, very good actress to me either.
They use her so much
What do you
better in
think
the
about-
third season, though.
That's true. She actually had something to do.
The second season, it was like, oh my gosh, no.
It's like, please get through this season so that
Yeah.
she can have something to do in the next season.
Yeah.
What do you think about Will's sister? No, not Will's sister.
Oh, yeah.
Finn's sister, right?
No.
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 She strikes me. She has a Gilmore Girls vibe, so I could see her being in chick flicks.
I think she will probably be a good TV actress.
I think so too.
Which is not a dig as well.
No. / chick flicks. I
Yeah.
think that falls into a similar category.
But Will's brother,
Well, he can't. So
yeah, he got
exiled from America.
Yeah, I wonder if
Is that
that's
a
over.
forever
Yeah,
thing?
though. Huh?
Is that a forever thing?
I
They
don't
can't
know
do
how
that,
that
right?
works.
Because isn't Justin Bieber like exiled from America?
I don't know. I think we were all requesting that, and then that's when he said that's when he came out as Christian,
And then he retired.
I think came out as Christian is a really weird way to say that, but
Yeah. No, that guy. What's funny is one reason why I really want to see the Mutants movie is because I want to see what he's like. Because
Yeah.
he has a Dane DeHaan vibe to me, and I
he
feel like there's
does.
only room for one Dane DeHaan. So, and he's not enough. He looks a little bit like Leonardo DiCaprio, but he's not.
No,
So
no.
that's a strike against him too.
Well, and you know, Jordan and I have some funny little things. Like Jordan says about Michael Keaton. What is it?
If he jumps into a pool, what is it?
He looks like a raisin. That's,
Yeah, I
that's
guess.
your thing. And then like if he jumped into a pool, all of his skin would clear up.
No, I
'Cause
think that he would absorb all the water.
Yeah. But my thing on the guy from Stranger Things is that he's the upside down Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, that's right. That made me laugh so hard when we were watching that show.
Yeah.
Oh man, when is the next season supposed to come out? Have they announced it?
I think it comes out next year.
They should do it early for everyone.
Yeah. I don't know if they
probably
finished
still
filming it, though.
editing it, or something.
And that gives us a chance to watch the show again.
That's true. Okay, were there any more kids we were talking about? Dakota Fanning really made us go on.
Well,
a
I mean, we
tangent.
were talking about Jacob Tremblay at one point.
Jacob
and the
Tremblay.
kid from let's just keep the kid talk going, and
Okay.
then we'll get back into Twilight.
Okay, so here's my thing about Jacob Tremblay. Wonderful, one of the best child actors currently working.
Yeah.
I am nervous about his future career though, and here's why. So I saw Room, and he acts in certain ways where I don't understand how a child can like act that without have gone through it. I just don't understand. Yeah. Wonderful performance. And then there was something else we watched him in, and he was really good. Or I watched him in, and he was really good again.
Wonder. He's
he
amazing.
was in Wonder, and he was so same thing. It's just like this is my theory. This is my theory on Jacob Tremblay. He is reincarnated from one of the wisest, oldest men in history.
Yeah.
And he's been reincarnated, and now he's just a boy, but he has kept all his memories and experiences. So
I think I kind of like to give you a hard time about Tremblay because you're obsessed with him, and
he's just so good. But
he was not great in the Twilight Zone episode he was in.
I'm getting there, Micah.
Oh, okay.
Because apparently he's in one of the worst movies ever made, Book of Henry. And I've not seen it, and I
Yeah.
refuse to see it. Not interested. And then he was in that Twilight Zone episode that was terrible.
Yeah.
And then where Mike and I are watching Dr. Sleep, and there's a kid that gets murdered on screen, and it's not only is it Jacob Tremblay, it is uncredited Jacob Tremblay.
Yeah.
So at this point in his career, he's pretty famous. Like he is the Haley Joel Osment of right
Yeah.
now. And the audacity to do it uncredited of Jacob Tremblay getting murdered is
It's very
like
weird.
so odd. Makes no
yeah.
sense because the kid is famous enough that when he's in a movie, you know to pay attention to him because
And
he's going to
just-
affect the story.
Just so you know, it was uncredited in that it was a credited performance. It just wasn't like billed.
It was
like
not
it was
billed.
not on the
They did
posters,
not advertise
in the
with him.
trailers. But it was a credited performance.
But what I mean by it is it's supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Because the kid is so famous that
it's treated like
how
a
could it not
cameo.
be?
It's very odd.
Yeah, and for him to just get brutally murdered,
Yeah.
and we like see him get murdered.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. It was weird. And
It
it was
was
also
weird.
just like, oh, And I know it's not all his choice or whatever. He's still very young, but it's like, this kid has a chip on his shoulder. I got an issue with this kid. That's where I'm at currently with him.
I will say this though, because I've been thinking about Jacob Tremblay a lot lately. If you take a step back and compare it to someone else's career, I think he's got a trajectory of a Christian Bale.
Oh, I would be into that.
Empire of the Sun being his room, and he's in some other
ooh, that's interesting.
Some Little Women type stuff, He just needs to whip out something like that now.
You mean like a Timothée Chalamet playing Laurie?
No, Christian Bale's in Little Women.
Okay, I just am.
No, I just didn't mean there's Empire of the Sun comparison, and then
when he gets older.
Yeah, like if he did something a little lighthearted like that, and he did the R-rated studio comedy thing.
What
and
movie?
It did okay. Good Boys. That was about the 8th graders that are trying to go to a party.
Yeah.
And it did okay.
Yeah.
People went and saw it and thought it was funny. I mean,
forgot that movie existed.
Critics were a little lukewarm on it, but I could see him pulling a Bale, where eventually he gets his Oscar noms every once in a while. And when he's in a role, it's it's Bale. He's probably gonna get nominated. That's what happens.
I just hope he becomes more selective.
Yeah.
Like Bale.
Yeah.
Because Bale's pretty selective.
Yeah.
Later on.
And then, final kid talk. The kid from Ford vs. Ferrari and Honey Boy.
Oh, yeah, that kid.
And
but I
Wonder.
also thought of the kid from It. Bill. His name's not Bill.
Will from It. Will from It.
Maybe that's not his name. The stutter. The kid with the stutter.
Oh, that kid's kind of bad in those movies.
Really?
Yeah.
But he's in Knives Out. And he was in something else he was...
I shouldn't say
he's also in Book of Henry.
I shouldn't say he's bad. He's not bad.
I don't think
It's not a good stutter.
I don't... Okay, well, whatever.
The stutter's very bad.
I think he does good in the movie. In Knives Out, I don't think he... Because the cast is so big, there's not really a chance for him, and I think he does well with what he has. I don't think we've seen his potential yet.
No, and I don't think we will.
Now... Interesting. Okay, now go to the Honey Boy kid.
Honey Boy kid
also Wonder.
He's my Jacob Tremblay. He is he's the next Caprio. He's got it. It's in the bag for him. He's gonna be riding high. He's
also does
fine.
acting in Honey Boy that I'm like, how have you not experienced this?
How have you not been abused by your father
for being in show business?
Yeah, which maybe he is. I don't know. I hope not.
I
really hope not.
Yeah.
He's got it though. He has the it factor.
Yeah, I agree.
And I do think Jacob Tremblay does as well.
Yeah, he does. I just hope that he gets this chip off his shoulder.
I think that both of those guys, though, are the Stranger Things kids are awesome, but Jacob Tremblay and that kid are in a whole other league. They're movie actors and doing awesome, and the Stranger Things kids are good. They're really good, but they're not the other kids are amazing when I see them.
You know who I hope is in stuff regularly after this is the Jojo Rabbit kid.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
He's good.
Please be more stuff.
I think it's been probably a good 25 minutes of kid talk.
I don't think I have anyone else to go through.
Let's jump into the Twilight Saga New Moon. So, the movie begins with a dream sequence. And I had a feeling where I was like, uh-oh, am I going to love this movie? Because it starts off and she's she's going through, she sees Edward and...
She's running through the people with the red cloaks.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I forgot about that. And
it's just foreshadowing.
Yeah.
The last movie had a similar thing.
Oh, okay.
But and more in the last movie, it started with her narrating about dying, and the movie ended with her narrating about dying. A little bit different, but yeah.
And then she sees herself in this mirror as an old woman, and Edward is not old.
Yes.
And so she's kind of reckoning with, oh my gosh, I'm going to get old and die, and he's going to look the same. What is that going to be like? And yeah. And I'm thinking that's a fun vampire idea to play with, for sure, especially in a romance series. Yeah. And like I said in the previous, I am not trying to dislike these movies. Right. Every time we cover a movie, I go into it, except for Fantastic Four for our Halloween special, I go into it with okay, let's see if this, even if I didn't like it at first, let's see if this time I like it.
This is a thing that I have though about this type of storyline. So she's in love with a vampire. The vampire is does not want to turn her into a vampire because he views it as he is taking away her soul and damning her to hell.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you don't understand what I go through. Because you're not a vampire, and I don't want you to, because it's eternal life of this.
Yeah.
And then, she's like, yeah, that's what I want with you, eternal life. And it's like, what is the word? There's no way around it. There's no way around this storyline. It's the obvious one to do, but it's obvious that she needs to be a vampire and that they will be happy together. It is like so clear, especially in the last movie when he keeps talking about how he can't live without her. Like he's just saying all these things to her. And it's like, if you really believe that and you're being pretty manipulative and selfish about it, just turn her into a vampire already.
Yeah.
If you're going to be that over the top. So it is like throughout this movie it's just kind of like, this all could have been avoided if you had turned her into a vampire. With that being said, I understand that this type of storyline is unavoidable.
Yeah. And so it progresses, and it's kind of funny because it's her birthday at the beginning. And so
now she's, quote unquote, older than Edward. Because now she's 18 and he's still 17.
Yeah, and it's just funny because she's just reacting so intensely to everyone saying, like, happy birthday, and she's like, shut up.
Yeah.
And, even if you are struggling with, like, getting old, you're not thinking about that when you're 18.
Yeah,
you know
if
what
anything,
I mean?
you're really excited to be 18.
Yeah, so...
and she gets one of probably the quintessential teenage gift that when I was a teenager, what I wanted, a digital camera. That is like they had to have,
her dad,
they had to have looked up and researched
probably in the book, Jordan.
No, but I'm saying someone probably had to research what is the number one thing teenagers want right now, and it had to have been digital cameras. I make sense, whatever, but I'm just like that. I resonate with that so strongly. That's what I wanted so bad when I was a teenager.
And so then she goes to school, and we see Jacob. He still has the long hair. Still looks kind of goofy.
Yeah.
And he gets her a gift. I think
it's
dream
catcher.
A dream catcher. And he's like, it can stop all your bad dreams. And she's like, oh, wow.
That's kind of perfect.
Yeah. And then she sees Edward, and he goes, oh, man, you didn't let me get you a gift. And she's like, I don't need a gift from you. I just love you. Whatever.
Or she said something like, I would have nothing to give back. And it's like, it's your birthday. You're not supposed to give people gifts.
Also, Edward... When a girl says she doesn't want a gift, you're listening to that?
Hello.
Okay, you clearly are a 17-year-old. Jeez.
That's where you put the drums right there. He looks much better this movie. His hair is less stupid. Mm-hmm. I feel like the makeup's even a tiny bit better.
Yeah.
In this movie. She looks better too. Overall though, because it's a different cinematographer.
Yeah.
It looks exponentially better. It does look a lot better. It looks so good,
and we have a better score. Yes. Although I will say the score is not highlighted as much as I would hope from an Desplat score, because it's so crowded with all these pop songs that are playing.
But it is a mainstream young adult story.
Yeah.
So,
but there's a couple moments that are cool, and there's one moment where she's in a forest. I think she's like laying down, or she like got attacked or something. I don't remember. And there's a moment where I'm like, ooh, like one change of notes, and that's the Little Women score.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of cool.
So let's just fast track to, she's at the Cullens' house to spend her birthday with them. And they get her a dress. She brought her digital camera, takes a picture of her and Edward, which is against vampire rules, but we're not going to dwell too much on that. Yeah. And then
they don't show up in pictures, right?
They don't show up in pictures or mirrors.
Yeah.
Okay, so then...
You know what would have been a quick workaround with that? Would be if she... No, that would have been more confusing. Never mind.
So, she... Yeah, okay, so she gets a paper cut. Jasper freaks out. She gets thrown against the wall, gets a huge cut on her arm. There's blood everywhere.
And all of them are like...
everywhere. And so, that was the point where Edward's like, I can't do this anymore because my own family's going to kill her.
Yeah.
Because we can't control ourselves. We just turned her into a vampire.
Yeah.
But we do have 2 more hours to get through. So
yeah.
Carlisle fixes her. They share a moment, whatever. And then it's pretty soon after that. It's like the next day, next week, whatever. She hasn't seen Edward for a little bit, I think. And then he shows up and they go on a walk in the forest. And he tells her he doesn't want her anymore. And they're moving and she's not coming with them.
They're moving because
dead to me.
The town is starting to notice that Carlisle is not getting older.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like 10 years older than he actually is. I think that this part is really good.
Their conversation is horrible.
No, not so much the conversation.
Or are you talking the window shot?
No, not there yet.
Because that shot's the best shot in the movie.
It is. But before that, there's another equally really good shot. So he tells her, "You're dead to me," pretty much. And then he runs away. And she, in her shock and doesn't know what to do, tries running after him. Obviously, we know that she's not going to find him, but she is so shocked. And she's running through the forest, gets deeper and deeper into the forest, and she falls on the ground and just curls up in a ball. And I love how the camera is rotating above her.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
It is such a good shot. And I feel like at that part, the music really...
That's the shot I was talking about.
Yeah, it was really... It worked so well with how it looked.
Yeah.
Then I feel like almost directly after that is the window shot where it was a montage of the seasons changing and it was the camera just rotating around her. She's sitting staring out a window and months passing by. One of the best time passages things.
Really cool.
In a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Really good. Do you think that it was edited like in a way, like do you think she was, because the camera rotates around her several times.
Yeah.
Do you think she is actually sitting in the chair the whole time?
I think I saw something about it on Wikipedia before I watched the movie, so I kind of skipped it because I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. But I'm sure that has something to do with like running the shot with her in it, running her without it, running her with a green screen, and probably shooting it like 4 to 5 times, or 3 to 5 times, and then. But it didn't. It looks like she doesn't ever move.
She like blinks. That conveys that it's not frozen. But
yeah, so I think there's something to do with like comping takes, and maybe she's just sitting there, and maybe I don't know exactly how they did it, but I'm sure that's not one take we're seeing.
No. But
and then they probably have like a lighting rig that's like changing the seasons as well as it goes around.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that the window is green screen.
Yeah,
I don't know how else you do it.
That looks so good out there. The font was even a good font. I think it was
really
Sutura.
Was. And the music was cool too. The score, like it felt depressing.
It did. It
really captured that mood.
Especially conveying they live in the one place in America that gets the most rainfall in a year. Like it's gloomy.
Another thing that I will give the movie, the story is that my understanding of this movie is Edward leaves and then she starts hooking up with Jacob.
Well, not hooking up. They're not hooking up. They're becoming close.
Okay. Hooking up is the wrong term.
It has a bad
it?
connotation.
That's not what I meant. Like dating. That was my understanding.
I wouldn't say they're dating.
No, before I went into the movie.
Oh, okay.
That was my understanding.
Okay.
And then and I was kind of like going to the movie. I'm like, okay, he's breaking up with her right now, and she's just gonna go right to Jacob. That's dumb. And this takes care of that because it's like, okay, it's been like 4 months or whatever.
Yeah.
I
understand. Yeah. And meanwhile, during this time, she starts emailing Alice, and it's kind of like a diary.
This is stupid.
It is, but I understand because they need to tell the story somehow.
Yeah.
And so it's like they need to show, because it's a hard writing thing when someone is alone, like self-imposed isolation on themselves through depression, but they need to we need to see how she's processing it.
Easy fix though.
What?
Because voiceover is very selectively, does it work well?
Yeah.
I think she just tries calling and she keeps getting voicemail, or here's what she calls and it gets a voicemail, calls again, voicemail, and then she calls a third time, and then it's like, this number's been disconnected.
Okay, but I think because of the genre of this, we need to know exactly how she's feeling. And that's what
works for me.
Okay, you're a boy, I'm a girl. So but I do think I like that it's like a diary to Alice.
I don't. I think it's too much cheese on an already cheesy sandwich.
Okay. It has to be cheesy at this point.
Yeah, but it's like those pizzas that have the cheese crust where you're like, oh, this is cool. And then you do it and you're like, okay, this is too much. This is too much.
Okay, so then it gets to the point where her dad's like, you got to knock it off. Buck up, kid. And she's like, I'm going to a movie with my friend. It's going to be fine. And so her and Anna Kendrick go to a movie. And it's also been represented that she has been hanging out with no one during this time. Yeah. So even her friend is like, really cool that we went and hung out. Like, I'm going through a lot too right now, but she's just not listening to her.
Yeah.
And then they are about to cross the street, and Bella sees
this is crazy.
Like a ghost of Edward, like, because she sees motorcycles, and he's like, "Don't go over there." And it's like, ew, weird.
It's like a bad Force ghost.
It's very bad. Wouldn't you think it would have worked if it was just his voice in her head?
Or if he was just like not see-through. No, that.
Oh no, I think that could be cool.
Like she looks and then she looks again and he's not there.
I think you could do it.
But the see-through stuff and then the way it kind of like it's like you hear like the chime sound, like the pretty much, and it's like.
No,
like, okay.
Yeah, he totally should have been there. Totally been there.
Yeah.
But then they cut back and he's not there.
Yeah,
or
it could have been a floating head. Just for fun.
This is basically a floating head. Like a Cheshire cat floating head?
Yeah.
Okay, so she gets on the motorcycle with, fun fact people, the guy from The Office in the episode where they do the commercial. And at the end of the commercial, Jim says to this guy, animation, all her, pointing to Pam. And the guy says, oh, really? So you like motorcycles? And in this movie, he's still a motorcyclist.
That's pretty weird.
Pretty funny.
And this makes no sense to me. Like it's as far as like her doing it, and she just like hops on a motorcycle with a grown ass man.
I knew, yeah.
And they drive away, and then Edward's like appearing to her as he's driving, and it's like, you're being reckless. You promised me you wouldn't be reckless.
Oh, that's right, because when he told her that he's not going to see her anymore, he's like, just promise me one thing. You won't do anything reckless and to put yourself in danger.
Yeah, and it's like...
So she becomes a thrill seeker.
Yeah, and she's just saying, like, she stops the motorcycle guy, and then she gets back with her friend, and then she just says, like, what a rush.
Yeah, weird.
And she said there are some undertones there.
Yeah.
And some overtones. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
And so then she's like, you know what? I'm going to get these junk motorcycycles and bring them to Jacob's house, and we're going to build them
fix
together.
him up.
And at this point, he has a haircut?
No.
Not yet. Okay. So when she shows up, she's like, hey, what would you say if I said that I wanted you to help me with these motorcycles? And he'd be like, I'd say it's pretty stupid. And she goes, oh, man, that sucks. And he's like, but I didn't say I wouldn't do it. And then she goes, seems kind of reckless, right? And he's like, pretty reckless. And it's like, it's not reckless to safely rebuild like,
dirt bikes.
It's maybe not like investment sound, but if you, like, we have a neighbor who's rebuilding this junky car. If he's just doing that for fun, you couldn't even confuse that with recklessness. That's like a hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, weird. So they start develop. I mean, they were already friends, but they start developing deeper feelings for each other. Jacob obviously likes her, guys, obviously. And it's revealed that at one point they're taking the dirt bikes out to take them on their first drive, and they see these guys jumping off a cliff. And Bella pulls over to the side of the road, and the cliff's still like several miles away, to be like, we gotta stop them. Okay, then keep driving.
Yeah,
don't stop. Like,
they're like a good half mile
at least.
Like if you didn't have to drive around the curve.
Yeah,
like just to see them, they're a good half mile away.
Pretty much, it's these guys who live on the reservation with Jacob, and Jacob's like, oh, they're all followers of Sam, and it's so weird. It's like a cult. It's just so weird. And she looks at him and like, I don't trust him because my friend doesn't. Then they go ride motorcycles. She's really reckless. Floating Edward's there again, and then she cuts her head pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh, now, and one of the worst ab reveals ever.
Yeah.
It is one of the most obvious fan service gross things. So she cuts her head really bad, and he's crouched down, and he stands up and lifts his shirt off.
He does the cross arm
lifts his shirt off, and it's just like, oh, gross. That's just no. Yeah. And it sucks because it's like there are so many people that are so into this right now.
Dude, so listener, and I'm being very serious about this. I really would like to know, unless this is weird, you tell me if this is weird, please go to our iTunes, comment 5 stars, and just tell us whether you take off your shirt crossed arm or not? Because
That's weird because I feel like people do.
I only see that in movies. I never take off my shirt cross arm. I always grab the neck and pull it over my... No, I take off my arm, take out my arms, and then I take it out of the neck. I don't do the cross arm thing because then your shirt's inside out.
Yeah.
Just
maybe people do that when the shirt's dirty and they're going to throw it in the dirty clothes.
Well, that would make sense. But could people... I mean, seriously, could you please comment on our iTunes? Give us 5 stars. We still only have 11 reviews. I really would like to get to 20. I would. By the end of the Twilight series, I want to have 20. So that's all I'm asking you. 9 of you to say crossed or not crossed. That's all you have to write. You don't have to even write about the show. Just give us 5 stars on iTunes. Thank you. But I really want to know that.
Okay. So what happens after that?
What I want to talk about is kind of sidetrack. We can get a little out of chronology here. We have the werewolves, okay? And they're not revealed for a while. And I will say I like the general idea of bringing werewolves into this universe. I'm like, that's cool, that's natural, that makes sense. That's kind of fun. Maybe she likes a werewolf. That's also kind of fun. I don't think it's pulled off super well. And I think the werewolf world is not, well, much like the vampire world, there's just not enough. They don't give us enough to be like, oh, that's their thing. They just kind of like, Jacob disappears from the movie for a very long time.
We don't see the transformation or anything.
Well, and it's not really defined where he was. It's not, it's like, they say like he turned into a werewolf. Okay.
Like it's in his genetic makeup.
But we also never really learn like why he was so confused about the jumpers and like didn't like them. And, you can assume it's because they're werewolves, but it doesn't really add up. Like, everything in the werewolf camp I can't quite make heads or tails of it. And, like, that scene where they fight around Bella, and the animation looks really nice. Like, then she just goes to their house as she almost was killed. And they're like, hey, what's up? We were just playing around. And he had to jump out and save her.
I think they're genuinely asking you to believe that because she knows vampires, she's not fazed by this. I think they're genuinely asking that from you.
But I also don't even understand, because she was about to die, and in the next scene they are saying like, oh yeah, we're fine, we just got heated.
Yeah, they get mad, they become Hulk.
I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
And then like you see the wife and she's got this scarred face and she's just like, hey.
I'm not a huge fan that only guys can be werewolves.
Yeah,
I think that's dumb, and I think it's a weird male dominance thing. And I know that with
this whole series, we could have subtitled it "Male Dominance." The
seriously,
series,
because I know, and I don't really want to get into it, but and this is young adult, but it still is romance. Like there is a type of romance where that is genuinely what people want, what women want.
Yeah,
is male dominance. So it is playing to an audience.
Yeah,
I think it sends a bad message, or it sends weird messages to younger girls.
Yeah.
And I don't even think people think about it, but it's all the subliminal. It's all the stuff that you don't.
No, I'm totally on the same page.
So
now I have another thing to present. We kind of talked about the werewolves, but before all of that, they go to the theater and she goes on this double date with Jacob. Well, she's with 2 guys.
Him and Mike.
But at the theater, this, folks, is my key to the Twilight universe. Now, do I think that Twilight 1 is a bad movie? Yes. Do I think Twilight 2 is a bad movie? Absolutely. Are these movies I'm going to want to revisit? No. But there was this great video by Patrick Willems about movies in movies, where he talks about how a lot of times in movies, the movies that the characters go to see or are watching can tell us more about their world and how that world functions. And so one of the examples he used was, it's a Coen Brothers movie where Frances McDormand goes to the movies.
Yeah.
With a guy. And do you know which movie that is?
Fargo?
No, I don't think it's Fargo. It's one of their newer movies.
With George Clooney and Burn After Reading.
Burn After Reading. So she goes with
George Clooney, and they see this movie, and they're like laughing it up, and you can tell it's like a very stupid movie. That's right.
And it kind of like shows that this is a world where it's a little bit heightened. And then later she goes with another guy, and they're like, that guy's not laughing the whole movie. And it shows a lot about their character. I don't remember exactly everything he said, and it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I can't really speak to the specifics. Would highly encourage you to watch it. I'll have to make a link. I'm going to make a note to put the link in our iTunes. Patrick Williams video. So you can just click on it when you're on the episode. How cool is that? But
okay, go back
all
to
of that
movie.
to say, in this movie, there is a movie called Love, spelled backward is love. Backwards is love. That's one of the movies that they were going to maybe see. And then they wind up seeing a movie called Face Punch. And in Face Punch, you can hear the dialogue in the movie. And the dialogue in the movie is very funny. It's a kind of thing where a guy's like,
cheesy, yeah.
I told you to put that gun away or I was going to blow you away. No, I was going to blow you away. And it's very over the top. And it's clearly the filmmakers just having fun.
Yeah.
But I think that this is the key to the universe because what this tells us about the characters is their universe is so heightened that when they go to see an intense action movie, it's even crazier than the intense action movies that we see. So my argument is that the insane emotions and how transparent everything is in the series actually makes sense when you take into account that they are consuming that type of media. When you watch Kill Bill, you just know that it's really gory and stuff. When you watch this, you know the emotions are all on the table and it's way over the top. And that is the key to the universe. And so in a way, I will argue the world does make sense. That's my big key. I hope at least a couple of you were like, that's kind of interesting.
All of the listeners are silently but respectfully nodding their heads right now and understanding.
Yeah.
So let's just jump back into the plot. By the way, I agree with all that. Very interesting.
Yeah.
We already talked about it.
Then
Old news.
there's, and I kind of want to get to the end of this.
Okay, so they do the dirt bike thing, and then they go to the movie, like you said, with her and Mike and Jacob, and then she doesn't see Jacob for a long time, and she freaks out, understandably, because she was just abandoned by the man that she loves.
Yeah. Let's just... Because we talked about the werewolves already.
So then the whole reason why he's been gone is because he's a werewolf, and when she does find him, he's like, I'm not good. It's just such the cheesiest, most boring of like, I'm not good, and I said I would never hurt you, and I'm not going to hurt you, so don't come around me anymore. And it's like, oh, brother.
Yeah,
he's a werewolf, whatever. And then I'm fast-tracking to the scene where she's now wandering through the forest again by herself, just thinking, walking, and runs into the vampire from the first movie, the black vampire. And she's not seen him since the first movie. And finds out that like Victoria, the redheaded vampire, is back hunting her. And he's like, oh my gosh, if Victoria finds out that I killed you, she'll be so happy with me. And it'd be better if I did it because she was going to make it slow. And so you're like, okay, she's going to die now. Cool, I don't have to watch 3 more movies. But the werewolves come and save her. Action's pretty good, I would say.
It's okay, yeah.
The
effects are good, action's kind of bad, but yeah.
Because the effects are good, the action's pretty good. That's my argument with this. And plus, this is all graded on a lower scale.
Yeah.
So she gets away, and then I believe that this time Jacob takes her home, and Alice is there.
Okay.
And it's like shocking because it's like, I thought I would never see you again. And she had a vision. Oh, wait, no.
Oh, please. Okay. Just keep going.
No. She jumps off the cliff. Jacob saves her. La, la, la. And then she sees Alice, and Alice is like, I had a vision. You jumped off a cliff. Like, are you stupid? Blah, blah, blah. Argument with Jacob. Edward calls the house. Jacob answers. Bella is furious. Alice has another vision that Edward is going to expose himself to humans in Italy where the Volturi are and get killed because he believes that Bella is dead, which means that Alice and Bella have to go to Italy right now. They have to go right now. And Jacob pleads for her to stay, and then she was basically like, it's always been him. Screw you.
Yeah.
But I would say, I think that it's typical teenage like flirtiness between them, like they have some chemistry for sure, but at no point did I ever feel like she actually liked Jacob. At any point it became a little bit romantic. It's only because it was a rebound for her.
Yeah.
And so when he's like surprised and stuff, it's like, dude, you poor kid. It's like you've been helping, you've helped her a lot, but you are not the person she wants.
Yeah.
So Alice and Bella go to Italy. There is on this day, I think Edward had already gone to the Volturi and said, please kill me because I don't care to live anymore. And they said that your gift is too useful. We won't kill you. So that's where he comes up with that plan. So
because they're superheroes for some reason.
They all have a special superpower. So they're there on the day of a festival where humans celebrate the eradication of vampires.
Wait, really?
That's what Alice said. And I'm assuming it's one of those festivals where like humans celebrate it, but they don't really know what it is anymore. Like St. Patrick's Day, that kind of thing. So Bella's running. At this point in the movie, it's like, cool, we're at the very end. Saves
and
Edward.
Then it's very long.
Yeah. There is a shirtless reveal by Edward. Nothing to write home about, but I think they're going for that.
No, save your postage.
So she saves him, but he did technically expose himself, and by expose I mean glittering skin.
When he flashed that girl.
Okay. So they're taken to the Volturi, and then it's like, oh my gosh, you have a human. This is so fascinating, and you can't read her mind. So Michael Sheen's character, when he touches you, he knows every thought you have ever had. And when he touches Bella, he can't read her at all.
Yeah.
At all.
At all.
Like Edward can't read her. And then Dakota Fanning's gift is causing pain without having to move, just by looking at someone. So she tries it on Bella. Doesn't work. There's something special about this little girl. And then there's a fight scene between Edward and another vampire dude that looks like Putty from Seinfeld. and at this point in the movie, you're like, how much longer is this? This is forever.
I'm sure you're thinking the same thing on this pod.
Probably. But it's just like...
Skip to the end.
No, please. I need to get through this, Micah. Okay. But it's just this last... And it's weird because you feel like 15 minutes before we had already gone through most of the last act. But this stuff's the last act. And it's like, it's all pure setup for the rest of the series. That's all this is right now. And Eclipse is the filler. But we're watching so much filler right now. So much exposition.
This should all be in the next movie.
The vampire fight was not necessary, made no sense because it ended with they were either going to kill Bella. It's basically like either kill her or turn her into a vampire.
Yeah.
Because obviously she's going to provide us with a useful gift. And Edward's like, no. And it's like, dude, you just turn her into a vampire. It's literally the only way she's going to survive at this point.
Yeah.
So I think it was Alice who was like, she will be a vampire. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we had to wait for her to do it. Like, Edward doesn't have the balls to like, just be like, fine and figure it out when he leaves. So... Bella does turn into a vampire, and then there's a cut scene to the future of...
She does turn into a vampire?
Okay, so...
Wait, are you serious?
You're joking.
No, I didn't. She didn't in this movie.
No, but she will. Because
you just said she does turn into a vampire. No,
I'm telling you, Michael Sheen touches Alice and sees the vision of Edward and Bella frolicking through the forest. It looks so dumb, and it's just so bizarre. So then he finally lets them leave, and it's like, gosh, this was 20 minutes we didn't need of this movie, and it's all fine, good, and dandy, and then the movie's not over.
No.
We go to the Colons' house because they are all voting on whether or not to turn Bella into a vampire, to which it's pretty much unanimous, besides Edward still doesn't like it, and Rosalie's still not a fan of it either. And... it's just like, guys, we know this is going to happen. We even agree that this is the best possible outcome for you guys. Let it be so. And then, movie's still not over. Edward and Bella are driving, and Jacob...
I don't remember this, so I keep expecting you to be like, and that's it.
No. And then Jacob shows up, and it's like, oh my gosh, how long is this conversation going to be? And it's pretty much Jacob just getting the last word. And I don't even remember what he says, because I was so checked out at that point.
Yeah.
And Edward's saying, like, thank you for, like, making sure she didn't get hurt this whole time. And, by the way, the whole time, what happened to this Victoria chick?
We don't know.
Can't even remember. So, and then it ends with Edward asking Bella to marry him, and it ends with her staring and,
she goes,
audibly, and it's so dumb. And then the movie ends.
Bad movie. Done with the podcast. Go to www.patreon.com/MicahMcCaw and you can get your episodes early and get Patreon exclusive episodes. We may be doing an exclusive Patreon series. I don't want to announce it yet, just in case. We haven't decided for sure whether we're doing that. And that would probably begin next month. But there is now a tier that's just a $3 tier that is if you want to only do podcasts. And once we get 2 more patrons, you get to choose our next series. And we'll derail from the things we're doing right now. I mean, we'll finish the series we're on, and then we'll just start that one next.
Yep.
So thank you for listening. And we also have a Twitter now, so check that out.
Yes.
We have 0 followers.
Sweet. I don't know how it works.
Which is okay, because I just kind of wanted to make it for fun. I'm not too worried about it. But thank you for listening. We had a good time. Be safe out there. Watch out for vampires, and stay home.
Bye.
Bye.
It seems New Moon has everyone picking sides. You're with Team Jacob or Team Edward? Can't we just agree to disagree? Can't we all agree on flame fresh taste for $1? Maybe we could talk this out over lunch. Aw, that's better, fellas. Get the Whopper Jr. or quarter-pound double cheeseburger for just $1 each, only at Burger King. It's a flame fresh taste all Twilight fans can agree on.